Shalom, Yasharala. I'm giving infinite honors to our Heavenly Father and our great King, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakakadash. Double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone. And salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak Yahweh Shai, pushing his beloved doctrine across the four winds in his final hour. Shalom. All right, this epistle is inspired by a clip I seen on the internet with this guy, Ross Perot. He ran for governor, Salakia, president in 1992 against George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton. And when he ran, people looked at him like he's a all tycoon, a billionaire. But people up north in politics, they say he wasn't savvy in politics, and they deemed him down. They would talk about him as if he was a country bumpkin. All right, but he was raw, straight to the point, and he said a lot of things that's running rampant right now. And it goes to show these senators and politicians are smooth liars. This guy didn't grow up in the political arena. All right, he was just raw. He was just, like the scriptures say, the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. He just seen the way that business and commerce was going in America, and he called what he seen. He called a spade a spade. And you can't be a senator, a congressman, a politician if you're not ready to lie to the people. And he was just up there straight raw telling the truth. So he would have never won the presidency. All right, because the president has to be a smooth liar. You have to look in the camera and lie to 300 million people daily. And Ross Perot wasn't doing that. But they got on a topic about American jobs going across seas. This is before they did it. This is before they got rid of the American work facilities here. And this nigga said that shit way back on the campaign trail in 1992, and now is speaking now. All right, and that's why we don't listen to our government leaders here in America. Us as brothers in this truth, we look at the alternative news stations, because that's where you're going to get more truth. You're going to get more devils that are blowing whistles. All right, and they're more honest. Okay, because the mainstream media and these politicians are set up to lie to us. So I'm gonna play this clip and funnel it through the scriptures. Abaratazai is edifying to the hearers. Okay. Let me get what Joe Rogan said first about this guy. I'm gonna let that one play first.
Boy, they put a lockdown on that right after Ross Perot came along.
We cannot spend our children's money. We are looking on the edge of a revolution of young people who are starting to realize that we, our generation, have put them $4 trillion in debt, and they don't like it, and they shouldn't.
Ross Perot f***ed everything up in that election. Bill Clinton got in, and they were like, that's it?
Don't we love our children as much as our parents loved us?
From now on, no one's debating unless you're the head of that party, or that's it. We're not letting any wackadoos in there.
We've got to collect the taxes to do it. If there's a fairer way, I'm all ears.
Oh, like him on TV with his charts and everything.
He was telling you how the IRS is. Yeah. This is what the Federal Reserve really is. And you're like, what?
Just for the record, I don't have any spin doctors. I don't have any speech writers. Probably shows. I make those charts you see on television.
The guy bought a whole half hour of television on prime time. I remember watching that thing going, how is this guy even allowed to do this? Boy, they put a lockdown on that right after.
What he's saying, Ross Perot got on TV and he told you how the IRS was fucking you. You heard Joe Rogan say that, and he was like, whoa, normally when the government have a whistleblower out like that, they normally try to kill him. Okay, and that's what he was saying. Like that's why they changed the rules where when politicians got up and speak, it had to be ahead of the Democrats or the Republicans, because during debates, you just can't let some guy like this get up there and he's just giving away the truth. And damn near everything that Ross Perot was saying, he was just a businessman, tycoon, all right, an oil tycoon. Look at what's going on today. I'm about to play this clip and listen to everything he said. And you see George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton, prolific liars. They grew up in the political arena. Ross Perot didn't. Now check this shit out.
Pretty simple. If you're paying $12, $13, $14 an hour for factory workers, and you can move your factory south of the border, pay $1 an hour for labor, hire a young 25, that's assuming you've been in business for a long time, you've got a mature workforce. Pay $1 an hour for your labor, have no health care, that's the most expensive single element, making a car, have no environmental controls, no pollution controls, and no retirement, and you don't care about anything but making money, there will be a giant sucking sound going south. So if the people send me to Washington, the first thing I'll do is study that 2,000-page agreement and make sure it's a two-way street. One last point here. I decided I was dumb and didn't understand it, so I called the who's who of the folks who've been around it. And I said, why won't everybody go south? They said, we'll be disruptive. I said, for how long? I finally got them up for 12 to 15 years. And I said, well, how does it stop being disruptive? And that is when their jobs come up from $1 an hour to $6 an hour and ours go down to $6 an hour, then it's leveled again. But in the meantime, you've wrecked the country with these kinds of deals. We got to cut it out.
Thank you, Mr.
And exactly what he just said happened. All right. All of the jobs went across seas to China. All right. They went across. They went below the border. A lot of them did go to Mexico. All right. And what happened to the American economy? All right. The economy is shit. Everything he said was going to happen was going to happen. Now, look, when you look at that video, look at Bill Clinton and George Bush. Faces on this motherfucker, man.
Perot, to those of you in the audience who are business people, pretty simple.
When you look at their,
if you're paying $12, $13, $14,
Bill Clinton and George Bush, all right, they grew up in the political arena, so they know they have to be magnificent liars. They know they can make money off of these schemes that the devil bring in. And it was like, you damn nitwit, you country bumpkin from fucking Texas. Why the fuck are you out here telling the truth? You're gonna fuck up our money purse. And exactly what Ross Perot said happened. Okay, that's why he would have never made a good president, because presidents have to lie, senators have to lie. They are not in place for the common America's good interest. All right. This is the land of the valley of the shadow of death. And he was just a guy, because of his billion-dollar empire, he ran for president. A lot of people say it was politics to keep George Bush Sr. from getting a second, a second term. So they put him in, and a lot of Republicans voted for Ross Perot, and that fucked up the numbers for George Bush Sr. to get back in, and that's how Bill Clinton got in. All right, but the nigga was telling the truth. Okay, everything he said back in 1992 is happening now. That's why the economy is crashed. All right, when you build up an economy, America became great because in Detroit you had all those automobile factories. America, everything was American made, so that put out millions of jobs. All these factories had, right, I say from the early 19th century, all right, on to the 1960s, 1970s. You had all those millions of factories where blue collar men had jobs in these factories. All right, and the economy was booming. All right. Then when you came to the 80s and 90s, they started doing Ross Perot said. What did Ross Perot say was going to happen? All right. You don't have to pay the motherfuckers in Mexico insurance. You could pay the motherfuckers $1 an hour. Okay. You don't have to worry about if somebody gets hurt on the job, having insurance to pay for them. He say every businessman is going to go for that. All right. Now what's going on in these modern times? Okay. I seen what's the name of the owner of the Dallas Mavericks? Cuban. Cuban said, now the new monkey wrench that's gonna get thrown on the Americans, all right, is the AI robots. He said, look, man, all of these American jobs where people work, all right. He said a businessman's job is to make money. Mark Cuban said this. I got a video I did where he said that. on my page. I just don't feel like going through it. I should have brought that one out. But the modern day monkey rich is AI. AI is just like those foreigners. They took most of the jobs to the foreigners and it's collapsed the economy. All right. The ones the hammer, the nail in the coffin is going to be AI robots. Mark Cuban said, all right, a businessman's job is to make as much money as he can. All right. So you make much money. You make the most money when you pay the cheapest labor. He say, so if you have an AI robot doing what humans are doing, he say, what businessman is going to want to use a human? He say, so what I'm saying, me as a businessman, I'm going to go with all the other men. I'm going to use the AI robots. He say, so what happens to all those people that are out of jobs? He said, you're going to have anarchy. And I couldn't believe Mark Cuban said that shit. He's on wax saying it. I have the video. Okay. And that's why when you read the scriptures, it says it's going to be an insurrection in the cities. The cities are going to be troubled. Men are going to spoil men for lack of bread. And it's all by design. What Rose Perot said, he said that back in 1992. That was the plan the whole time, man. It was the fucking plan the whole time to nosedive the American economy in oblivion, all right, and put everybody in distress, and you have order out of chaos, that tool that this devil used, and then what do? You come in like a knight shining armor and say, look, we have an antidote to fix this problem. And what is going to be? The digital certificate, all right, universal basic income, where everybody's going to be good, everybody's going to be fed, but you have to get this chip implant inside of you, and that's going to fix everything. It's all about design, man. Okay? All right? And the children of this world are wiser than the children of light, all right? That's why you have a lot of these devils doomsday prepping, all right? They take in consideration all the things that Ross Perot said, okay? And now you take in consideration what Mark Cuban said. There's about to be anarchy out here, man. All right. In fact, I'm gonna start with that one. Luke chapter 16, the 8th verse. All right, and it reads, "And Yahweh commended the unjust steward and the lie." Now that's not Yahweh right there. And the Lord commended the unjust steward. The Lord means a master, a person that's in power. All right, that's not talking about that word Lord right there. All right, this is a similitude. All right, like a governor. A governor is a lord. A judge is a lord. All right, a owner of slaves, he's a lord. Okay, a person in power. And the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. The children of light are you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and people in Hispanic descent. But in this generation, all right, in this eon, the heathens are wiser than us, man. All right, they're wiser not than the elect, but the vast majority of Israelites because of the curses. Okay, so they could read between the lines better. Okay. They don't believe what a great number of the heathen don't believe what the heathens say on the mass media, on these mass media outlets. Okay, they research everything that's given to them and they test everything that's given to them. A lot of heathens are well read. Okay, our people, the aptitude that their mind goes is into living for the weekend, clubbing, partying, and bullshit. So that makes the heathen wiser than your typical so-called Negro, Native American, or Latin, okay? That's why you have doomsday preppers. They're conscious. They are preparing for society to collapse, all right? Because they look at clips like that. They look at society and how everything Ross Perot said has come to pass, all right? There's no work in Egypt, man, okay? This is and it's not in, and it's going to be lesser work in Egypt. All right, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Nobody's going to have a job in this motherfucker. Nobody. Probably a minute few. All right, this is I need Proverbs, not Psalms. Salaki. All right, this is Proverbs. I need the book of Proverbs. Chapter 1, the 5th verse. A wise man will hear and will increase in learning, and a man of understanding shall attend to wise counsels. All right. So that's why if you're on your watchtower and doing what you're supposed to do, all right, you're looking at the NASDAQ. All right. You're looking at these economic forecasters, seeing what they have to say. You know what? Let me get this definition of gradualism, because everything that Ross Perot said happened. Okay, everything that nigga said was going to happen happened. All right, but it happened gradually. Everything he said happened gradually. Okay. All right, you look at America from 1992 to now. All right, everything he said, it took 20, 30 years for it to come to pass, but it happened. All right, gradualism, a policy of gradual reform rather than sudden change of revolution. You see, they revolutionized the way you do business and commerce in America. Like I was talking to my baby mama's son the other day. He was talking about he had saved some money and he wanted to start a new business. All right, and that's the American way. Okay, the American way is to come to America, start your business, and get rich. And I told him, I say, bro, according to the economic forecasters in America, you missed that boat. You had your chance, but that boat is gone. All right. When you get these jobs, you get these EIN numbers. All right, especially if you want to have a food service and stuff like that, the food is higher. All right, because the first rule in economics is spend more money. All right. The first rule in economics, you know what? I don't want to bang jangle it. All right. I'm going to come back to gradualism. All right. The first rule in economics is to put out as less money as you can to bring in more increase. All right. And it's hard to do that starting a business in America. It takes a lot of, when you start a business here in America, now you don't see that revenue come over fast now. You might go years before you start seeing your money turn over. First rule in economics. All right, that American dream it's past. It's done. Okay. The first rule of economics is scarcity. There is never enough of anything to satisfy all those who want it. The fundamental principle underlies all economic analysis and decision making, because resources are limited. Individuals and societies make choices how to allocate those resources, leading to trade-offs and opportunity costs. That is not what I was looking for. All right, that's not what I wanted. All right, bear with me. That ain't it. That's not what I was looking for. That's not the answer. All right, I might need the basic principle. All right, I think that's it right there. Yeah, this is what I want right here. Okay. The 5 basic economic principles include scarcity, supply, and demand, marginal costs, marginal benefits, and incentives. All right. You see, and you want to get your supply and be able to handle demand, but you want to get that supply and make sure that money turns over. Okay. You have to have the demand going out, but with the resources you use to have the demand going out, you want more surplus coming in than the money you spend for it to come out. Okay. And now here in America, that's hard to do. That's hard to do. Like, it's like selling dope. If you sell dope, you go score you, and I hate to use this analogy, but like if you go score you let's say an ounce of coke, all right, you have to double that money. All right, that's what economics is. Your money has to get doubled, and if you go spend $500 on your product, you want to make $1,000 off that product. Now, when it comes to start businesses in America right now, oh, that's hard to do. That boat has flown away because of taxes. All right, because of high taxing on, and they taxing everything, and the theme of the day is hyperinflation, man. Here in America, America is not the place where business is booming anymore. Okay, because most Americans, these businessmen, these Fortune 500 companies, they do business and commerce across seas. Okay, so when you try to start something in the home, all right, that's hard on the person that's here in America. That's hard on them to start a business from the ground up. That's what this COVID was all about, knocking out the middleman. All right, tearing down these people that had homegrown businesses. All right, scarcity states that resources are limited, and the allocation of resources is based on supply and demand. Consumers consider marginal costs. All right, that's what it's all about, marginal costs. All right, benefits and incentives when purchasing decisions. All right, and it's hard to make an increase here in America, man. If you wanna go and start you a hamburger business, where are you gonna get your beef from? All right, if you go buy your beef from anywhere in America, all right, you got to go get these high-ass food prices. All right, you're going to be taxed. All right, the best thing to do is go buy a fucking cow. All right, but your average American don't know how to get a fucking cow and slice them and dice them up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Arabs do down here, literally. I know a guy named Muhammad that owns a store down here, and they just go buy the whole cow. That's what they do. They go buy the whole fucking cow and cut the cow up, dissect the cow, and sell the meat to the niggas. All right, that's the smartest thing to do. Now, if you want to go and buy your meat from Walmart, Costco's, and all those things, and start you a business, all right, hey, that shit is hard to do. It's hard to do, man. The American dream has passed, man. It's passed basically on anything that you try to do. Okay? Now, let me go back to gradualism. All right? A policy of gradual reforms rather than sudden change of revolution. All right? And that's what, when back to the subject at hand, Ross Perot said was going to eventually happen. He said it in 1992. Now it's in full throttle, full swing in 2025. Okay? 30-something years later, man. 30-some years later, so it gradually happened. It didn't happen overnight, okay? And we supposed to pray to Yahweh Shem Shai to give us eyes to see in this land of the valley of the shadow of death, okay? That's how we know America's at its end when these things happen, okay? Let me go over to, I'm going to go over a few chapters. Say basically the same thing, man. All right, faster to do it this way. All right, this is Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 8. And it reads, reprove a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. All right. And this is why the Lord said of his prophets to let you Israelites know to don't put your dreams, goals, and aspirations here in America. All right. The American dream is American nightmare. This place is about to go into shambles. So it don't make no sense to be going to college, trying to get the so-called white man's degrees, going to these Now, if you got a way to make more money, yes, make it, to get your daily bread. But for the most part, having your dreams, goals, and aspirations here, it's a waste of fucking time because the system is set up to crash. And when it crash, all right, it's going to be set up to make you get this digital certificate. Okay? So you got wise men out here warning you. All right? But when you reprove a scorner, they hate you and they call you crazy. Okay? Oh, hold on. Let me put this charger on this laptop before it go dead. Like all right, Salaki about that. Okay. All right, this is the book of Leviticus, the 19th chapter. And I'm gonna start at the 15th verse. All right, and it says, "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness thou shalt judge thy neighbor." All right, and here in America, all right, righteous judgment is not coming on. It's not going forth. The government is giving unbalanced scales to the people. Okay, when they're giving out information, the information is inaccurate. Okay, and it's setting people up for traps. Okay, so they're manipulating the poor. All right, and what are they doing to those people that are on the higher levels? All right, they're giving them they're giving them the information that they need to know to get through these hard times. All right, so they're not judging right at all. I'm gonna skip down. But Ross Perot was telling the truth. All right, that nigga was giving you some real game. He's what they call a whistleblower. He was whistleblowing during those presidential debates. Okay, he was telling you the truth. All right, just balances, just weights, a just ephah, a just hand shall ye have. I am Yahweh, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. All right, and that's what you're getting from his servants, the prophets. All right, we're out here giving you just weights. We're telling you what's going to happen before it happens. All right, we're out here telling you the truth of the scriptures. Okay, and oh shit, you see what's going on here? All right. Bear with me. I'm having technical difficulties here. Bear with me. All right, there we go. Okay, Salakia for that. Salakia for that. When I went to put the charger back on the laptop, it went dead as soon as I did it. Salakia for that. Okay. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 18. It's one of my favorite precepts right here. All right. It's Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 17. All right, Proverbs 18 and 17, and it reads, he that first in his own cause seemed just, but his neighbor come and searches in search of him. Okay? So when the government comes out and tell us the things that they say on the news, and you have these whistleblowers coming out saying, nah, that's not true. All right? You want the Lord to have the Holy Spirit on you to guide you. All right? So you know how to sift through information. All right? And the Lord will have a guy like Ross Perot and that guy that moved to Russia, or that whistleblower, Sanjay. All right? Guys like that. All right? To come whistleblow and speak against their own people. Okay? You have a lot of whistleblowers in this fine hour when the Lord has put the Spirit on them for us to get the information that they bring out. All right? Because Ross Perot, he sought America out. He exposed America during the when he was on that presidential debate. He told a lot of things that came to pass. So what does that say about George Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton? All they were up there doing was lying, man. That's all they was up there doing, fucking lying. Lying through their fucking teeth. And that's your average politician. All right? They get paid the big bucks to deceive the nation. All right? That's why Matthew the 24th chapter say, if it were possible, they would deceive the elect. So it's not possible for elect man to get deceived. That's why we have to pray for your high by Shema Rashad and not take his Holy Spirit away from us. All right, this is Exodus 23 and 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. So you can't follow the masses. All right, the masses are going to go do evil. Mass media, all right, being a part of the Democrats, the Republicans. Those are the masses of the people. Being in Christianity, the masses of people are in Christianity. They are Democrats or Republicans. All right, you want to get away from these big numbers of people. The Lord deals with a little multitude of people. All right, in the book of Ezekiel, he say his elect men are a little sanctuary. Okay, he said though Israel be as the sand of the sea, only a remnant is going to be delivered. All right. So when you follow a multitude to do evil, it's like when you follow mass media and you listen to these Republicans and they tell you to go get that hokey pokey juice, or they tell you to come to these lines and get this digital certificate. Don't do it. Don't listen to these mass media outlets. All right. All they're doing is feeding you lies. Neither shall thou speak and cause to decline after them to wrestle judgment. Okay. And they don't judge fair. All right. The righteous judges that are out here right now are the servants of the Lord. All right. You go to the brothers of Great Millstone, those are the prophets of the Lord, and the Spirit of the Lord is on them, and that's where you're gonna get sound doctrine. Okay. Yeah, man, that devil he was telling the truth, man. Ross Perot, because everything he said happened came to pass gradually. All right. He's a whistleblower. He's not the only whistleblower out here. All right. So with that, Abaratazai, this was edifying to the hearers. We give infinite honors to our Heavenly Father and our great King, Yahweh Bashim Avashai, Bashim Harakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and our bishops of Great Millstone, and salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak Yahweh Shai. Kwam Yasharala, Ababa Baal Shalom.